My life was systematically falling apart, but I clung to the remnants of my health until the day the doctor delivered the news: late-stage Hodgkin's lymphoma. This diagnosis wasn't just a blow to me, it shattered the delicate balance of our family life. I had been a model of health, always on the move, careful with my diet, and meticulous about my annual checkups. My wife, Rose, and our teenage daughter, Emma, were devastated when I told them, their faces collapsing under the weight of uncertainty. Rose and I had built a life together over 20 years, supplemented by sound financial planning, good insurance, sizable savings, and a trust fund from my late grandfather. We owned our house outright, and I had already secured funds for Emma's college education, just in case. But cancer doesn't respect preparation. A week after the diagnosis, I started chemotherapy. It was brutal. Returning home after sessions, I felt like I'd been run over by a train. I was a shell of myself, unable to eat, bathe, or even move without assistance. Rose and Emma initially rose to the occasion, handling meals, housework, and my numerous medical appointments. I tried not to be a burden, contributing where I could, but the strain was visible. Their patience began to fray, signaled by deep sighs and delayed responses to my requests for simple things like a glass of water. Our breaking point came unexpectedly. One morning, running late for chemo, I found Rose hadn't prepared. She wearily suggested I take an Uber, a suggestion that struck me with both shock and a sinking realization. I took her advice, my Uber ride punctuated by the kindness of a stranger, which somehow made the absence of my family's support sting even more. Upon returning home, I confronted Rose and Emma. The air was thick with unspoken grievances. They admitted they were overwhelmed. It was then I suggested hiring a nurse to help ease their burden. They reluctantly agreed. The nurse was a godsend, efficient, kind, stern when needed, and incredibly supportive. Her presence brought a semblance of normalcy and progress in my treatment. However, the more she integrated into our lives, the more Rose felt sidelined, a sentiment that culminated in a painful altercation. Rose stormed out after a heated argument about the nurse, an event followed by a distressing call from my mother-in-law criticizing the decision to bring another woman into the house. I tried to explain, but her displeasure was palpable. Then, as if my health battle wasn't enough, I returned from treatment one day to find a moving truck in front of our house. Rose and Emma were leaving. They couldn't handle it anymore, they said. The timing, their departure right after a chemo session, felt like a calculated abandonment. I was too weak to protest, too exhausted to articulate my heartbreak. In the aftermath, my brother stepped in. Living 3 hours away and juggling his own family responsibilities, he still offered to help. His wife's sister, Ruby, going through a divorce and studying nearby, moved in temporarily to help around the house. My home, stripped of its warmth by the departure of my wife and daughter, slowly filled with a different kind of care and companionship. Months passed. I regained my strength, my health improved, and eventually, I was cancer-free. The victory was sweet but bittersweet, marred by the absence of Rose and Emma. Despite their abandonment, I moved forward, initiated divorce proceedings, and focused on rebuilding my life. I returned to work remotely and planned to move, seeking a fresh start away from the painful memories etched into every corner of my old home. I decided to give the house to Ruby. She had been my rock when I was at my lowest, a beacon of kindness and strength. Life settled into a new rhythm in a quiet neighborhood in the countryside. My new neighbor, Julia, a widow, became a good friend. We shared stories of loss and survival over porch drinks, finding solace in our shared experiences. Then one day, Julia mentioned seeing people lurking around my new home, people who turned out to be Rose and Emma. They hadn't been in touch since they left, and now they suddenly reappeared, ostensibly believing I had died and they could claim my old house. The confrontation that ensued the next time they showed up was ugly. They tried to claim the house was rightfully theirs. Julia, bless her, tried to mediate, but the scene escalated. Later, an explosive encounter resulted in a smashed window, a call to the police, and Rose and Emma being taken away in handcuffs. The whole ordeal was a stark reminder of how much had changed. I felt no sympathy as they were arrested. They had broken more than just window glass, they had shattered our family. I was ready to close this chapter of my life, focusing on my health, my new hobbies, and the quiet comfort of my new surroundings. End of story 1. From the painful legacies of the past. As the police car disappeared around the corner, carrying away the remnants of my old life, I knew a definitive line had been drawn. There was no turning back, no revival of the ties that had once bound us. With a deep, cleansing breath, I turned away from the window, ready to embrace the tranquility of my new beginning. My heart was lighter, the future unburdened by the weight of unsalvageable relationships. It was time to move forward.
Beginning of story 2. Today, this is your playground, Alex said with a twinkle in his eye, gesturing expansively towards the grand Victorian mansion that sprawled before us. The house, valued at around $180 million, was an inheritance from Alex's grandmother, a woman of extraordinary taste and wealth. The property was her pride, filled with memories and treasures from around the world, and now it stood as a testament to her legacy. Alex had always known the mansion would be his. His grandmother had made it clear that her estate would pass directly to him, skipping over his parents due to long-standing family disagreements. Now, with the mansion legally his, Alex's partner, Julia, seemed overly enthusiastic about making the mansion theirs, not just his. Julia's eyes sparkled with ideas of renovations and events, treating the mansion more like a venture than a heritage to be preserved. If you enjoyed this story and found value in it, please show your support by liking this video and sharing it with others who might appreciate it as well. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more engaging content like this. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you again soon. My name's Alex, and I'm 39 years old. I work as a freelance software developer, a job that allows me the flexibility to manage my new responsibilities as the custodian of this estate, he explained. Alex's relationship with money was complicated. Raised in a family with abundant wealth, he was constantly reminded of the fleeting nature of financial security. His grandmother, while lavish in her lifestyle, drilled into him the importance of prudent investment and the risks of frivolity. Alex's childhood, despite the affluence, was not one of unchecked luxury. His grandmother believed in the value of hard work and modest living. He went to public schools, and his holidays were more about cultural learning than luxury. Wealth is a responsibility, not a privilege, she often said. As Alex and Julia began to settle into the mansion, their views on how to manage the inheritance diverged sharply. Julia, seeing the estate's potential, pushed for turning it into an upscale boutique hotel. Alex, on the other hand, felt a strong pull towards maintaining the mansion as a private residence, honoring his grandmother's memory and preserving the private nature of the home. The tension grew as Julia presented Alex with plans she had drafted without his consent, including marketing strategies and potential event bookings. Alex felt betrayed. This was not just a building, but a repository of his family's history and his grandmother's legacy. When his grandmother's health had begun to decline, Alex spent countless hours by her side, discussing the estate and her wishes. She had entrusted him with preserving the estate, possibly opening it as a museum or a trust for historical preservation, but never as a commercial venture. Their conflict came to a head one evening, amidst the backdrop of a particularly tense discussion about finances and future plans. Julia's frustration over Alex's refusal to commercialize the property boiled over, leading to a heated argument where ultimatums were thrown. Feeling cornered, Alex decided to protect his inheritance as he saw fit. He chose to end their partnership, a painful decision, but one he felt necessary to fulfill his promise to his grandmother. Julia moved out, and Alex began the work of turning the mansion into a public trust. He established a foundation to manage the estate, using it to promote the arts and culture, consistent with his grandmother's love for the finer things in life. The mansion soon opened its doors as a museum, showcasing an extensive collection of art, antiques, and historical documents that highlighted the family's impact on local history. As the museum gained popularity, it became a center for community gatherings, educational programs, and a symbol of preservation. Alex found solace in his work, ensuring the mansion served a purpose greater than itself. Julia, after some time, reached out to apologize, Admitting her push to transform the mansion was driven more by excitement and less by respect for his feelings and the estate's historical significance. They managed to restore their friendship, though their paths diverged professionally. Alex's decision to maintain the mansion as a museum not only honored his grandmother's wishes, but also taught him the importance of stewardship over profit. He became a respected figure in his community, known for his dedication to cultural preservation and his ethical management of the estate. The mansion, under Alex's care, continued to thrive as a beacon of cultural heritage, attracting visitors from near and far, each drawn by the stories and beauty preserved within its walls. Alex often walked the halls, his grandmother's words echoing in his mind, feeling a deep connection to the past and a clear path toward the future. This legacy of preservation became his life's work, proving that sometimes the best way to honor our inheritances is not to capitalize on them, but to enrich others through them. If you enjoyed this story and found value in it, please show your support by liking this video and sharing it with others who might appreciate it as well. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more engaging content like this. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you again soon.